Sorry na, अब बन
So you wonder why we just don't kill them, and put them on trial. They all should get the death penalty.
The folks who are accusing us of awareness of this are sick. They are, in fact, putting themselves in jeopardy. I'll just say that as bluntly as I can.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What's going on, Habibis? I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Mujahed Kobbe.
And we're the Habibi Bros. Welcome to another episode of Habibi Power Hour. What's happening, y'all? It's been another, I guess, weird week. Has it been, Jay? There's a lot of weird shit going on.
There is. I mean, granted, it wasn't as intense as the last 4 weeks, as the first 4 weeks were in the start of 2021, but there has been some really shit's been going down still.
Yeah, I texted you earlier saying that I think this is the first Calm Wednesday of 2021, and then I think I said it or you said it that I immediately jinxed it, and so far we have, at least here on the East Coast, 2 hours left of Wednesday. So
I think you have to tweet it for it to actually have
an impact. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, given that it's a weird week, we're joined by the weirdest guest of all, our Habibi of the hour, Ryan Girdusky. Ryan.
Hey. So anyway, speak to me. How you doing?
Good. Ryan is the author of the They're Not Listening, as in they're also not reading this book. How the
son of a bitch.
How
truly one of the worst people that I know.
Populist revolution, is that what it is?
When the jihad comes, it's going to get you first. I just want to know. Like, literally, it's going to cut you first.
You have a copy of your book. Show it to everyone.
No one's going to buy it. You can buy it, though. I got to pay rent. Buy my book.
Yeah, buy it.
It's a great doorstop.
Yeah. And Jay, what the fuck is going on behind you?
Well, this right here is for afterwards.
Is this your Microsoft Flight Simulator that you got going on?
They don't let me download that game. They banned me from it.
It's because you never learned how to land.
Nope. Unless it's in the 69th floor of a building.
Nice.
You literally just killed my joke, though.
Say that again, Ryan.
You said you know how to land. I said, don't worry, Siraj never learned how to score. But never mind. Fuck it. Don't worry about it. It was a way better joke than your joke, but don't worry about it. What the fuck do I know? Son of a bitch.
Oh, man. All right, Ryan. Well, the reason we brought you on, obviously, to shit on you, is to talk about some of this stuff going on with the Lincoln Project, because this is what basically started off the week, is this report from the New York Times, which those motherfuckers didn't even give you a hat to. Basically, became a prominent story. It forced the hand of the Lincoln Project 3 weeks after you originally reported on it for the American Conservative. But at the very least, John Weaver, who is a co-founder of the Lincoln Project, 21 men essentially came out accusing.
Do you want me to set it up? Are you sure? Because I'll just set
Well,
it up.
I'm going to ask you about it in a
Okay,
second.
okay. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say 21 men accused John Weaver of online harassment. Since I said essentially all of us got a drink, and Jay has
100%.
That's what we do, is you got to drink every time I say essentially, and he says 100%. Ryan, every time you say fuck me, that's when you got to drink.
That's like a recipe for alcohol poisoning.
Yeah. So Ryan, tell us what exactly happened and how this story unfolded and why it took so long for the Lincoln Project to finally disavow this motherfucker.
So, okay, back in late May, John Weaver followed me on Twitter. Anyone who's been following my interviews kind of knows the story already. Back in late May, John Weaver followed me on Twitter. I didn't really think of it because I don't really follow everyone who follows me on Twitter. But a day afterwards, a couple young guys, like three young guys actually, messaged me and said, "Hey, we want you to know this is who he is. He does this to young men. He reaches out to them and promises them job opportunities, and then changes the conversation to a sexual manner and basically asks for sex." And I literally was like, "This is the only show I could actually read John Weaver's messages if I wanted to, and how horrible they are. But the more like grotesque ones, you can't read that on Ingram."
Right.
Anyway, so they reached out to me, and I spent months and months and months trying to get one of them to go on record. It's like really hard when you're dealing with a situation like this. A really powerful guy, young men, they just don't want to go on record, and I don't blame them because they don't want to have their whole lives ruined. I mean, Lincoln Project's all lawyers. They have a powerful media organization supporting them. They have millions upon millions of dollars. And finally, I got a few to go on record in August. And I was getting calls. I was asking a lot of questions to a lot of people. I got a lot of calls that people in the Lincoln Project knew that I was working on the story. And they actually confirmed that they knew on their podcast that was released yesterday. So anyway, so the story gets killed, though, because John Weaver says he has a heart attack. And then the editors wanted to give some time because they couldn't get a statement from him. And every time the story was delayed because of those problems with trying to either get young men on the record or get a hold of John Weaver, another young man would drop out, and it just delayed the story basically until the story was dead. Finally, in January, I was just fed up with the Lincoln Project and their big bag of bullshit about like trying to hold people accountable for something that Trump did if they worked in the Trump administration, that I tweeted, maybe I should talk about a member of Lincoln Project who's been sexually grooming young men in exchange for jobs. Maybe his wife would like to know. A rather bitchy comment, but whatever.
Yeah,
and
but you're kind of a bitch, Ryan. So
yeah, I kind of a bitch. So
That was an
anyway,
epic tweet.
So yeah, the tweet got 5 million impressions. I never check impressions. Like I got to check this impression because it's crazy. Anyway, I wrote, but so I didn't have anyone to go on record at the time, and I was like really screwed if no one did. But I put it out there, and then luckily enough, people did go on record, and young men said, "Hey, I'll let everyone know it's John Weaver," and I started writing up the story like immediately. As soon as I had 2 people on the record tweeting it was John Weaver, I was able to sit there and write the whole story. And I did. It came out January 11th, I think. Days were like blurring. Scott Stedman, who was attempted to be groomed by John Weaver, he wrote a story on the 12th, I believe, and I appeared on Ingram on the 13th. And throughout all of that, they didn't comment. The Lincoln Project didn't say a fucking word. They took John Weaver's picture off of their website. That's all they did. And then Axios put a story out a couple of days after that, or maybe a week after that, and basically gave John Weaver an out, where he said, my problem is I'm a closeted gay man, but I have a wife who I love, and I've had these interactions, but I thought they were all consensual, and they were all above grade and whatever. And the Lincoln Project statement after that was like, well, we don't have to add to anything. Or it's something to that effect. I mean, I don't have verbatim top of my head, but it was something to the effect of, well, we'll just stand by what John says. Mm-hmm. And then 2 weeks after that story, 3 weeks after my original publication, the New York Times article comes out talking about a 14-year-old boy. And now they are outraged. They were blindsided. They had no idea about the allegations. They are, extremely upset and disappointed by his behavior. They wish they had called the authorities, all the rest of the stuff. So that's the general trajectory of how the story came out.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to read this comment here. Chris Kinder. Hold on, sorry, Jay. I'll get to you in a sec. Chris Kinder says, I'm only here for the Lincoln Project dunks. I don't care if you go for 4 hours. I'm here for the continuous jizzing. This is the most intelligent show on the internet.
Absolutely. I like how like an old boomer, he had to like get really in there. It's like jizzing. What? What is jizzing?
Well, when you have a micro penis, can you really see anything?
Sorry, my hair is like out of control now.
What were you about to say, Jay?
No, I just find it fascinating that this is the lie or the go-to quote that a lot of these people take, that like, oh, I was a closeted gay. So
it's the Kevin Spacey defense.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
Axios didn't have a follow-up like, hey, you're not accused of, being a 61-year-old having an affair with a 61-year-old. If he was, having an affair with a man of his age, literally, I wouldn't have even read the story. No one would have cared.
Yeah.
The thing is, you are offering sex for jobs, and Axios did not follow up on that point. It was a puff piece and a get out of jail free card that they were willing to write for him. And they did not even fucking quote me or link to my story when they wrote the fucking thing too. So I was a little perturbed about that. And I emailed the writer and I was like, hey, you didn't quote me. You didn't link to my story. You didn't mention me. You didn't mention my publication. And he's like, oh, I'll fix that. And then tweeted a link to it. So take a finger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hate these fucking legacy media journalists who do that shit. It is the most infuriating thing. Like,
and the New York Times at first, they've fixed it since then. The original New York Times story was article in a magazine appeared and it linked to my story.
Wow.
It didn't fucking appear. I wrote it. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
That is amazing. I don't understand how they're not. There's a problem. It's not only on this story, but a lot of stories that come out from right-leaning publications that end up on places like the New York Times or Washington Post. They are not linked properly. I don't know if they do this solely with right-wing writers or stories or anything, but I know it's happening.
Just cite me, because you know what it is like, and I'll give a shout out to, I think his name is Amy Lynn or Amy something or other at the Washington. I should know her fucking last name. Amy from the Washington Post did call me and spoke to me and asked me for comments and questions. So they actually followed up at the Washington Post. New York Times, fucking nothing.
Real quick, Mr. Kenzo. Thank you, Mr. Kenzo. R.I.P. John Wiener. Thank you. He says, thank you, Ryan, for ripping the lid off this. And then he asked, what do you think about Karl Rove knowing for decades?
Let's Karl Rove. Here's the problem with the Karl Rove allegation. At the time, Rove and Weaver were in contention to be the biggest political consultant in Texas. So when Rove made the allegation that he saw or he heard of John Weaver reaching out to young men in a hotel lobby, I believe it was in 1988, people thought, oh, he's just trying to take out a political opponent. Because imagine 1988 in Texas what's the worst thing you could possibly be? To be a Republican is probably gay. So people didn't take him seriously because it was Karl Rove.
Right.
And I think that they probably just brushed it off. There was an article in The Atlantic in 2004 that republished those 1988 allegations, and they didn't reach out to Rove to see how serious his allegations were. And I believe, if I'm right, according to my sources, I believe everyone involved with that flirtation, besides John Weaver, has since passed away. So, I mean, I've looked into it, but unless you have a victim, Karl Rove wasn't a journalist, and the journalists at the time thought it was just Karl Rove, being really aggressive and trying to, beat down an opponent.
Yeah. One other. Oh, it was Amy Wang. David Toll says
Amy Wang. Thank you, Amy Wang.
Was the Washington Post reporter. They specifically referenced you.
They called me. We had a conversation in my car.
No, I know, but in the actual story too, it's not that they just called you; it's that they actually gave you credit.
Yeah, which I appreciate, because no one ever fucking gives me credit.
Well, I don't, because for obvious reasons.
Because you're a dick.
I give you credit every time I slap my girlfriend's ass.
You don't have a girlfriend. That's your mom. Royal.
Oh my God.
LB, my dog is sleeping. I'm trying to get him up so I could sit there and show you.
Yeah, let's see. Where is LB? LB on here. Come on. It's LB on the track. There he is. There's Royal. Yeah, let's wow.
Has any Lincoln Project member commented to you or talked to you, messaged you, or done any of that?
Not a fucking word. Their interns have. The interns who have been sexually harassed by Weaver have contacted me, and I've spoken to them. And now the Daily Beast, which is run by Lincoln Project editors. Their gender reporter, which I know is a thing, is now calling the interns asking questions. So to do a story, but they all work for the Lincoln Project people. So
I'm curious, Ryan, because obviously, and I want to play this clip right now, just because this is what appeared in the days since the initial, obviously the New York Times report and the Lincoln Project finally denouncing him, or I guess going with John Weaver's statement. I don't know what the fuck they did, but we got Rick Wilson here basically saying this shit.
So, we have made a very clear statement. We have taken care of a problem. We have acted from principle. And the folks who are accusing us of awareness of this are sick. They are, in fact, putting themselves in jeopardy. I'll just say that as bluntly as I can. There will be a moment soon where the jeopardy you put yourself in by making those accusations.
All right, so basically Rick Wilson is like threatening anybody who is accusing any of the members of the Lincoln Project of knowing about John Weaver's sexual misconduct and her sexually harassing and grooming of young men. And arguably, were there any underage boys?
14.
There were 14 of them, or
there was no a 14-year-old. That's only legal in Afghanistan.
Okay, all right, so.
That's the only way your uncles got married.
Says the only non-Muslim on the show. Come on, think of a better insult.
Yeah. Okay. So
that was to Siraj.
So
no.
Now that obviously Rick Wilson is threatening people for making those accusations, what can you tell us about what they knew, how much they knew, and when you think they knew it? I mean, what have you heard, and what do you?
Well, I mean, so on that podcast, or on a different podcast, I don't know which one it is. They've done like 3 or 4 now. Rick Wilson was like, if you want to call me, you could. If you're a victim, you want to call me, you want to scream at me. I did not know. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. Yada yada yada. They're all like apoplectic and just apologetic and so remorseful for the actions of John Weaver to these victims. And rather than saying thank you to the journalists who brought this to life to save young men, they are immediately going to a threatening mode of you don't like what's going to happen to you if you accuse Royal, get over here. He's eating something. Royal, get over here. Sorry. I'm like, what the hell is he eating? No, he's like chewing on something. He what you call it? Yes, I did a show one time. My dog was taking a shit in my room, and I sit there the entire time, not screaming at him. He goes to this whole thing. I do not think Rick Wilson or anyone else in Lincoln Project knew about the 14-year-old boy. I think that especially since I was on this story for months, and I did not know about this 14-year-old boy. And you have to remember when we said the New York Times 21 young men. I had 30 sources. Scott Seven had 60, he said. The New York Times had 21. Even if there's some overlap, we're talking about 100 men within a 5-year period. I don't think that they knew about the 14-year-old boy. And that's the case that they are particularly focused on constantly. They don't really ever mention all the other young men who are 19 and 20. And maybe they speak about them in a broad way, but they don't speak them individually. I will say that they did acknowledge that there was a story being worked on at the New York Post. By the way, I have never mentioned that I was working on the story with the New York Post ever publicly until they said it. So how they got they said that the Trump campaign told them. I didn't tell them in the Trump campaign. I have no idea how they got a hold of the fact that the publication I was working with. So that's odd. But they heard that a story was being worked on this summer. One young man publicly accused 3 members of the Lincoln Project, including Mike Madrid, a co-founder, and then 2 other members whose names constantly slip my mind, I have to go like searching for their names, but 2 other members that he told them specifically about John Weaver, and they did nothing. The woman, wait a second, this is actually worth giving me a second to look up their name. The woman involved was, the young man said, and this isn't a tweet, so this is a public thing. He won't speak to me to verify it. Sarah Lenti, he said, when speaking on the phone with Sarah Lenti in September of this year, she knew about the entire thing and brushed it off. He said, I told Keith Edwards, who then went to work on the John Ossoff campaign, and Mike Madrid about John Weaver, and they never reached out to me or apologized on his behalf. Don't hold your breath. They made me look like a fool thinking I had their support. So all members of the Lincoln Project. Sarah Lenti, he gave some kind of time. It was in September. My story came out January 11th. Mm-hmm. I was on Laura Ingraham. These are shows that a lot of these people watch over and over and over again. And Scott Sedman's story came out, I think, on the 12th. So 3 major things happened in 3 days. They did not respond to it for 3 weeks. On one of the podcasts, Rick Wilson said, we heard John Weaver was up to some weird shit. What does that mean? And why has no one in MSNBC or CNN, who've had them on dozens of times, said, what do you mean by weird shit? What does that mean that you heard weird shit? So I can't tell you what exactly that they knew when they knew it. Were members of the Lincoln Project aware? Yes, because young interns were being sexually harassed by John Weaver. And they're members of the Lincoln Project. And according to one person who said it publicly, others said it privately, but publicly, one person went up to 3 members of the Lincoln Project and told them John Weaver was sexually harassing young men, and they did nothing. And they heard a story was coming out. They've even acknowledged this. They heard a story coming out throughout the summer, as early as July, I'm being told.
Jesus.
And they didn't say anything. So the fact that these are the great, defenders of truth and honesty, give me a fucking break. Yeah. So that's as far as what I know. I genuinely don't believe that they knew about a minor, and I'm never going to make that accusation because I don't believe it's true. But I was hard pressed to find anyone in Washington, D.C. in either media or political consulting who had never heard a John Weaver story before. As your friend and I, Yashar Ali, tweeted, it was an open secret because it really was an open secret. And another person whose name I can't mention, who is a well-known household name Republican conservative writer who hates Donald Trump, was asked to join the Lincoln Project, and according to a very well-reputed source in his circle, said no because John Weaver is a creep. I mean, there were definitely, if they did not know, they should get their noses checked out because there was smoke in a lot of places. They said it only existed among 3 people: John Weaver himself, gay Twitter, which is not a thing, it's called election Twitter, and just for branding purposes, they call it election Twitter, not gay Twitter, as Rick Wilson was saying, and media people in New York and DC. And they couldn't possibly know because they're in Florida. That's what his defense is. So that's what I know about what they knew when. If anyone, and I mean, it's hard because a lot of these young men who worked for them are leftists, and they're still afraid of Weaver and no, it's not David French. Of Weaver and of other people.
Jonah.
What you call? I'm not saying any more names, so you'll just figure it out. But it's not. But a lot of these young men are still afraid to come out, and they do believe in the mission of the Lincoln Project. They did hate Donald Trump, and they, some of them have said, "I don't want to give." I mean, one guy who made that public accusation against 3 members of the Lincoln Project, he said, "I'm not going to talk to you because you're bad on immigration." And this is not a debate about the border. This is a debate about a sexual predator and people who covered for him. But right. I mean, we do have a lot of them are just afraid. And we do have a couple of cases of ideologically purist people who don't want to speak on the fact that, I have the wrong politics according to them.
Yeah, that's a crazy phenomenon. Like, I don't want to speak to Jay on normal circumstances, but because we're doing well on this show, I gotta talk to him.
That's what happens. It's your stance against ass eating. That's the reason why you try not to speak with me.
It is haram.
It is haram. But I find it's fascinating to me because it's not only when you have a story like this, but you have a story like Harvey Weinstein, or you had a story like Matt Lauer come out and stuff. Like these people in these positions that they're in, all of these firefighting, righteous journalists and Me Too, whatever fucks, and all you hear, they all knew about all of these things.
Yeah.
Well,
They
the
knew
first
about it.
thing that people called me about, because the Lincoln Project is so litigious and they're threatening to destroy anyone, apparently, rather than thank journalists. If they really did care about, protecting young men, they would thank people like me who worked on the story for so many months.
Right.
The first thing that people called me and said, people who knew about the thing about John Weaver said, "You're not going to mention me, right?" And these are like nice people. These are friends of mine. They're good people, but they legit were like, "Just don't mention me, okay? Just don't talk to me about it, because don't talk about me, because I don't want, I can't be bothered with the trouble." So, I get it. No one wants to deal with all that, especially if there's a big court case.
Mhm.
But show a little bravery, like sometimes. Like that's what I want to say. Just show a little fucking bravery.
Yeah. Have some fucking balls, okay?
Have some fucking balls.
Abe Eckstein, thank you. Abe says, "Do you guys have a fatwa from the Lincoln Project guys to take care of Ryan?"
Look, if they're paying $69,069
$420, I'll do it.
yeah.
I'll kill Ryan right here, right now.
Siraj will murder a man for $69. It is like when our country truly goes to hell and murder is not illegal anymore, it's going to be some 99 cents like store, be like a $69 store. Murder anyone you want.
$69. That would be nice.
That would be super nice. Forrester Mike, thank you, Forrester, says, "Why do you guys think
Pedos.
Why do you guys think that pedos are so overrepresented among powerful organizations? You got Epstein, the Catholic Church, etc."
I don't think they are overrepresented.
I think it's the spotlight, honestly.
I think the spotlight is very, very large. But if you talk about, there are more. I mean, he mentioned the Catholic Church, so I'll defend the Catholic Church for saying there are way more priests who never did anything than did something. But if you look at, like, there are way more children who are abused by public school teachers than there are by Catholic priests. But you wouldn't sit there and say, "Wow, you're a Catholic school teacher, you're probably a pedophile." You wouldn't ask that question. I don't think they are overrepresented. I think when stories come out, they are.
The reputation of teachers now is like, "Oh, you're a teacher? Oh, you must be a giant pussy." Mr. Kenzo just sends us $8. I don't know. I think it's
I think he has a question right under that.
Frank Lasky asked to pay the money. I'll tell you.
Here he is.
This is it. He says, "Ryan, have you looked at the bankruptcies besides the one by Weaver and Wilson? Fred Wellman's is the worst. Fred Wellman's is the most interesting to me because you literally filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy just weeks before onboarding."
I have no idea about any of that. I'm only one person, and I'm incredibly lazy, and it takes me a long time to write a story. So I'm not going to be exposed in like one a week. I'm not going to have a special. I have a story coming out in 2 days, but I don't have how they've landed on me is like a miracle. I don't have like big breaking stories like all the time. So
yeah, no, we're you and I are both
all fucking Katie Couric. Okay, I don't have
Curtis Hunt. Hey,
Curtis.
Thanks for joining the stream, Habibi. He mentions obviously that MSNBC's Nicole Wallace is perhaps the one host on CNN and or MSNBC that has the most to answer for, given her coziness with these guys.
And she is a political consultant. She has a career in politics. She worked in the McCain campaign, I believe, with John Weaver. They had on John Kasich the other day on Wolf Blitzer. That was his fucking chief strategist. They didn't ask him shit. So, I mean, Meghan McCain is on The View every day. Ask her a question. She's publicly bashed John Weaver in the past. She hasn't made a statement before. Her husband's reached out to me a few times, but she hasn't said shit to me or anybody. So I mean, look, the thing is that all the token Republicans on all these networks worked for the same campaigns that John Weaver worked on. And I only know probably 2 people who worked on the McCain campaign who were higher up on the McCain campaign, not household names. No one would know them, but even if I said them, but they called me to tell me John Weaver was the biggest piece of shit on the planet. So they're like, we're not surprised by any of this. So the ones who knew him well and worked in this field forever, I would love to ask them questions, but I don't imagine anyone's ever going to. Considering that MSNBC and CNN had Lincoln Project people on their network 21 times after my story broke, before the New York Times story broke, didn't ask a question once. Then Mika Brzezinski, who sat next to a predator, Mark, what the hell is his name? Mark Halperin, for years. Wow. As he was putting his dick on women's shoulders, I believe is the story. And
for your dick too.
I know.
It's like the worst place to put your dick. Why the shoulder?
Right. Well, Siraj did that to me once, but I thought it was like his keys like hitting me because they were so small. But what you call it? No, but she sat next to us, and asked George Conway, what did you know, or what do you think? And he was like, there are just no words. And she said, oh, okay. Oh, there's no words. Okay, cool.
Wow. Fucking insane. Damon told, thank you. Damon says, Ryan, can you confirm that you're not suicidal?
That's a great question, because I say I'm going to blow my brains out 35 times a day.
We literally saying it right before this episode.
Listen, all I have to say is this. If I mysteriously end up dead in the next 3 weeks, Siraj is in charge of finding my body, taking a copy of my book, putting it over my face, and tweeting it out and putting a picture. So I got to push product. That's all I got to say.
Ernie pissing on your
buy a copy of my book.
And Ernie pissing on your cold corpse.
My cold corpse.
Can I buy the book on Amazon?
You can buy the book on Amazon.com.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I just could make a bootleg copy and send it to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
The audiobook I will say that the audiobook's actually, it doesn't have any of the cliff notes or the citations, but the audiobook is actually really good. It's way better.
Ryan, I will not listen to an audio book, anything you write, unless you do the voiceover yourself.
No one wants to hear me do a voiceover unless I.
It would be hilarious because every sentence you're going to read, you'd be like, "Why the fuck did I write that? Why do I sound like a bitch right here?
I would be swearing." Wait, did you see Can we transition from Weaver for a second? How about Liz Cheney? The vote against Liz.
That was going to be the next topic.
The vote against Liz Cheney was whatever it was, like 130 to 60 or 140 to 61, and then one person voted present on a fucking blind vote. What kind of bitch are you to vote fucking present on a blind fucking vote where no one will know what you voted for?
Oh my god,
it's crazy. All right, so yeah, let's get into the news that happened tonight, because this is still pretty fresh, and that is
it is on Audible. My book is on Audible. Chris Kinder,
yes.
Yeah.
No, I seriously want to buy your book. What is it called?
The book is called "They're Not Listening: How the Elites Created the National Populist Revolution." It is about how, on a global scale, like not Trump himself, but the populist movement was happening all the way in the late 90s, and no one was picking up on it. So it talks about it throughout the entire world, from India to Brazil to Canada, United States, all Europe, Australia, Israel, Angola, and Africa. And I talk about how what's uniting people around the world to reject neoliberalism. And it's short, and there's a lot of citations. There's no pictures, though, as my cousin texted me because he was reading for the first time.
Wait, I was told that you were going to have a dick pic on page 69. That's the reason why I just bought this.
That's why the sales went so. That's why the sales were so bad.
So more about that Liz Cheney vote is that she clinged is probably not the right word, but that's how I'm reading this tweet, is that she clinged on to her leadership job. Vote was 145 to 61, and I guess there was one present, as you said. House voted on a secret ballot to keep her, and there was basically just
hold on 1 second.
What? You all right? It was just 4 hours of dozens of members speaking their mind, saying how much, especially the ones who voted against her, saying how much they fucking hated Liz Cheney.
Mitchell, you bitch. I can't believe you're in here on this chat. Sorry, go ahead.
It was on here.
Mitchell Sand.
Ryan, he says Ryan can't play Jeopardy for shit.
I can. I've come in second place 6 times. Mitchell fucks me every single week.
Amazing. Thank you, Nate Beebe. Says Habibis, this is the most faded I've seen Siraj in a while. Agreed. I've definitely been more faded.
I don't know what that means.
Definitely more faded. Anyways, LB says, Faye, I'm pretty sure Ryan said Ern is a barking bitch or something to that effect. What did you say, Ryan?
Ernie does not like my company. And he proceeds to, he has attacked me.
Out of everyone here, you have met Ernie the most.
I have been with Ernie late at night, early in the morning, and he's never cared for my company. I think he hates people who look like Jews but not are actually Jews. Ernie, you know how some dogs can smell if a criminal's around because of the high, adrenaline? Ernie can smell a credit score. So he knows mine is not adequate, but knows the way I look and assumes the worst. So Ernie is not a fan of me.
Ernie is not a fan of you. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if I get him right now and he starts barking at you.
Ernie, he's been better lately, but in the beginning, it was rough.
Yeah, we figured out a way to curb Ernie's barking at people.
Yeah, he did not.
We don't like Ryan.
Yes, he does not like me.
Bike practicer sent $6.69. That's very nice. He says, nice. I am here just to watch Siraj try to drink whiskey. The Rocks is the right choice after last week. That is. JC, thank you, JC. You can't even ask Ryan my question. What is
his question?
What the fuck is your question, JC?
JC, I am answering literally anything. I'm probably going to get sued from the Lincoln Project from being on this fucking show right now. This shit show. And I'm not even getting the $4.99 out of it. And I'm just sitting here and waiting for your question.
Yeah, like they're sending all this money to me and Jay. Ryan isn't getting a fucking dime.
I'm not getting. He doesn't even pay for my fucking drink after he like rapes me, Siraj. So I don't.
In fact, I'm gonna send Ryan the bill for my internet service for this month. Eric Halverson, thank you. Eric says, any chance on getting Red Steez on Power Hour? He has NBA Jam dunking on LP. Lincoln Project, yeah. I know Red Steez. I definitely like to have him on. We'll try to make that work. As we await JC's question, whenever the fuck he decides to send it. A lot of happening.
I love how sweet we are to our fans.
I know.
When you get more fans, you have to be like Howard Stern. Howard used to have the oh god, what did he call his fans who were like all like morons? He called them something or other. You guys need to like have a name for that.
Well, we call them Habibis, but when they're not behaving, then
no, they were like super fans. Like this. I mean, you only have super fans at this point, but does AOC getting caught with her lies today?
Oh, this is what I was going to get into. Rachel Pierce, thank you. Thoughts about AOC getting caught in her lies today? All right, so this is actually what we wanted to get into next, and then we decided to talk about Liz Cheney. I'm sure Jay has some thoughts on this. So we'll go to you first, Jay. The
Whack Pack, yes, the Whack Pack. Thank you, Fuzzy
Whack Pack.
Dunlop. Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Fuzzy Dunlop. That was the Howard Stern.
Yes, you'll have your own Whack Pack later on.
We like to call it.
You can call it Ass Eaters Anonymous.
That is exactly what we should be calling it.
That's probably what we're going to be calling it exactly.
Right.
So AOC went on Instagram Live early this week on Monday. She basically gave a tell-all about her experience during the Capitol Hill riot or insurrection, whatever you want to call it. And she also revealed that she's a sexual assault survivor. That's sort of besides the point. That's like a side story. The main thing, though, is that she is sort of detailing her entire experience, talking about how she was in her office as the protesters / rioters were storming through the Capitol. And basically, she details, I'm not going to play the video for it just because it's just too long and too drawn out. And obviously, we don't give a fuck that much about her detailing her experience. But we could summarize it right here, is that she was in the bathroom of her office and she heard a loud thud a loud knock, and then she, heard someone busting through saying, "Where is she? Where is she?" Like yelling. She thought her life was in danger, and basically turned out to be a Capitol police officer, telling her to basically leave the building and go to another. I think told her to go to Longworth. So she was in Cannon, and told her to go to another Capitol office building. The whole characterization, though, is that as we find out, she was actually not in the U.S. Capitol building. She was in Cannon, which is about a 15, 20-minute walk to the Capitol. I mean, it is if you've ever been to the Capitol building, it is kind of a schlep, given the fact that it's literally across the street. But Jay, you basically called this almost immediately, and I was afraid you were going to get banned almost immediately on Twitter because of what you said. You basically said, and I quote, "She's just jealous of Andrew Cuomo getting the Emmy."
Right. Well, it's the reason why I knew she was lying about this kind of stuff is because she has a history of over exaggerating and lying, especially when you see those photos that you can still meme to this day of her going to the border and crying at an empty parking lot.
Yeah.
Right. Crying at an empty parking lot and shit. You just knew that what she was doing here was playing off of that, because she saw all of that attention she got from these journalists and stuff who are not going to ask questions. Who's going to ask the question and deny her truth or, her lived experience, especially her bringing in that her sexual assault and that kind of stuff, or that she's a sexual assault survivor. And that's beside the point. I think she has a very bad sickness. She's a manipulator. She's a liar, and she knows how to play the people in like journalists who are writing these stories or these tweets, who are not going to fact check this, who are not going to come out and say, well, actually, you weren't in the fucking Capitol building. You were, 2 blocks away from it. Nobody was actually coming into your guys' building and stuff. It's not to say that it wasn't a scary experience or whatever, hearing what was going on, but that's what it was. That's what it was. You were hearing what was going on. You weren't present or experiencing what was going on.
Do you think her big naturals hypnotize the media?
Say that again, Ryan.
I said, do you think her big naturals hypnotize the media?
Her big naturals?
Sorry, go ahead. I just haven't talked in a while, so I just lost track of thought. Go ahead. I wasn't interested in what you were saying, so I had to interject.
All right. So one thing real quick. Thank you, Mr. Kenzo. He writes the hashtag Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett. So this is actually like the number one hashtag trending on Twitter.
Trending today. Right now. Yeah,
it's still trending.
It is.
And I wonder. I mean, Ryan, what do you think about all this? Do you think the backlash is warranted when you?
Okay, I did not follow any. I was in the middle of Lincoln Project shit, so I literally didn't see the video. I saw like a half a second of it.
Well, no one has to sit through and watch any of her Instagram lives because every journal posts them on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw clips of it, and I just think look, it could have been very scary. Absolutely. If someone says, I get that it's scary. My uncle is a Vietnam War veteran who saw action, and he has never talked about it to this day. I think, calm down, girl. There are people who've been through worse traumatic experiences who don't need to make it a moment for yourself. But everybody, the Lincoln Project people, it's all about them being fathers and how they feel as fathers. It's not about you all the time. So calm the fuck down. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do I think that she was scared at the time? Absolutely. Do I think it was a terrifying experience? Sure. She's probably a thin little girl and not little, thin woman. I don't want to sit there and dismiss her, but I can see how the whole situation was scary. However, it's been a month basically since that happened, and she comes out with it, and I don't know. I think of my uncle. I think I'm seeing combat in Vietnam and him not saying a word for 55 years, and him living with it, and her using her gigantic platform that she has to talk about how she was scared a month ago when she really wasn't in danger.
Yeah.
Right.
JC, go ahead, Ryan. I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry, Royal.
Do I sound that white and nasally?
Bitch.
No, I do. That's the funny thing. I do sound white as fuck. But I mean, to me, I think that she's egging this on so that more and more sympathies will go towards showcasing Republicans as these murderous fucking, you know, terrorists and stuff like that. And it's going to grow that narrative. And you're going to see a lot of journalists posting that shit. I mean, it's died down a lot.
Did you ever hear this? It's an old saying: "If God didn't exist, we'd have to create him." If Trump didn't exist, which he doesn't right now on media at all, they're trying to create him, and they're trying to make him something. Even when look at GameStop, I mean, that was like they connected GameStop to Trump because they have to get fucking clicks somehow.
That's fucking wild. JC says, "My bad, love you guys. AOC is a hack. This 5 is for Ryan."
Okay, I saw JC's question, so JC's question was, why didn't you express outrage about Trump with all the women? Here's my thing: I wasn't the journalist who broke the Trump story. It never landed on my plate. Had it, I would have talked about it. I don't talk about things in general that I'm really not covering in great detail. I might send a tweet out, whatever. That's it. Yeah. I don't really know the Trump allegations of him walking the dressing room. I've heard it very briefly. I don't really give a shit. I don't know what is about me that everyone wants to tell me their depravities to, but if I just sat there and just steamed out the outrage for everything, that's all I would do all day. So if it's true, yeah, it was bad. It's not my place to sit there and denounce somebody for something bad they did that I'm not reporting on, that I didn't break. No one looks to me for like moral compass and anything. I live in fucking Queens, New York, and I have a picture of female troubles from John Waters on my wall. Like, no one gives a shit about I don't have to denounce Bill Cosby to write about somebody else. I shouldn't have to denounce Trump to write about the Lincoln Project.
It's like the blind condemnation, like when you remember when in early 2019 when Ilhan Omar in particular and Rashida Tlaib, but mainly Ilhan Omar, was under fire for saying anti-Semitic comments and sending out anti-Semitic tweets, and the House drafted a resolution that was originally going to condemn anti-Semitism, but then it basically they generalized and whitewashed it to basically say any form of bigotry to sort of protect Ilhan Omar. It's sort of like that, where you just you don't want to face the actual problem. You rather just sidestep it and just say, oh, all of that's bad.
Okay, here's my thing. I don't like when people in power do bad shit. There's my broad condemnation. I mean, it's just I don't have to denounce. If you follow my career, which most people probably don't, I have denounced Trump on so many broad issues. But if it's not a subject matter I'm breaking in the news, I really don't talk about it publicly because, one, no one gives a flying fuck about my opinion, and I'm not as much of a sociopath like everyone else on Twitter to believe that they do. Yeah. So it's just that's how I feel. So I
have never once given a shit about your opinion
because I tell you suck each and every day.
After being in this stream for this long, I can say that I can really agree.
I mean, look, last time, the only other time I was on the Habibi show, it was on election day. I was blasted drunk and said, if we win Virginia, I'm showing my dick. That's why we lost Virginia. So, I'm not a person that anyone gives a flying fuck about my opinion on people.
Unless it's seeing your dick. Then they really do care.
And that's a tragedy.
That is why Trump lost Virginia.
Yes. But the vote hadn't been in yet, and then I said that, and it was all over. I just think that I don't have to, and you're not the first person to say this to me. Why don't you say anything about Trump? It's no one gives a shit enough of me to sit there and say that, and even if they had, the people who always circle the wagons on politics is how they live in life and judge people and judge everything. They wouldn't have cared had I said something or not. They would have just said, oh, he's still a hack. So what the fuck? Yeah,
well, you can't please everyone. However, Wyatt Tarosian, thank you, Wyatt. Wow, I can't say that. Let's go with
you get as bad as I do with names when you start drinking.
He says, buy Ryan a shirt that fits.
Wyatt, you oversized fucking leprechaun. Go find a tree to make cookies in and leave everybody alone, okay?
No, it's really funny because Wyatt, I mean, he's got a jihadi beard right now. He's Armenian, but he looks white and ginger. But I think he has some jihad.
He's Armenian and Mexican, okay? And you know what that means? He can never buy a house. So
that's
he's got a fake ass and never buy a house. That's what it means.
Oh, we got Michael up in the house. Jay, Siraj skipped my question. What was your question, Michael?
Oh, go up there. It wasn't really a question, more like a statement about Ryan.
Oh, good. I have a question. You know, that's the perfect question is like, I don't have a question, but a comment.
Basically, everybody.
JC says, I appreciate your answer and agree. I appreciate what you guys do. Thank you.
Yeah, and JC, I hope I didn't offend you by what I said. It's how I feel. And look, I did my only other sexual harassment story I ever did was when I was working with Siraj actually at Red Alert Politics. And it was against Charles Payne. And it was that this woman accused Charles Payne of Fox Business of raping her. And I had their personal emails given to me by somebody. And I was able to actually show that he never raped her. And she talked about it in the emails. I'm not out there to be a purist or to do anything. Everyone knows my politics. I'm not hiding it. I'm not a fucking I'm not a brilliant jerk. I'm never getting a Pulitzer Prize. I get one Christmas card a year. Like, I don't get shit. So it's just how it is. So I don't mean to. I hope you're not offended. I got this a lot of why don't you denounce Trump? Why don't you denounce Trump? It's not my place to denounce everybody. Like, I don't go off about who's that the guy who owns CBS News or whatever. It doesn't, like, no one gives a shit about my opinion, and that's fine, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Here is Michael's question. He says, Ryan Girdusky sounds kind of gay to me, but
not as gay as you look, Michael, so go fuck yourself, okay?
Boom!
You fake fucking Italian. I know what you eat for Christmas dinner, right? Christmas Eve, and it ain't fucking 7 fishes. Son of a bitch. Yes, Les Moonves. Thank you, Mitchell. You're an angel.
Eric Halverson, thank you. Eric says, is there a way to change the media business model so that people like AOC and MTG don't get so much attention? Here's the thing. There is a huge vacuum right now. As you said, Ryan, you beautifully put it. The fact that if there was never a God, we'd have to create a God. Just like there isn't a Trump, we're creating a Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene is that figure. She is. I was going to ask this question, but I feel I can answer it because I feel strongly about this. And that people need to have a villain out there. There always needs to be a villain. There always needs to be a good versus evil battle, and we always need to focus on defeating evil.
We all need a personal armor.
Right? We all think that we're good. So when it comes to an evil villain on the right, that was lacking. So who did they pick? Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's crazy enough. She has given basically credence to the QAnon conspiracy theories. She's given credence to the Parkland, basically saying Parkland shooting was a false flag. Sandy Hook was a false flag. She basically was a 9/11 truther. Of course, she's tonight and during that GOP meeting that we were referencing about Liz Cheney, she supposedly apologized for saying she followed QAnon in the past and that she called Parkland a false flag. And apparently half of the GOP caucus within the House basically gave her a standing ovation. It was originally reported that
can I tell you
a standing ovation unprompted, but now that we know a little bit more information.
Can I give everyone an MTG story? Because I had a 4-hour lunch with her. So I've never said
let's hear it.
I've never said this publicly. So I got invited to an MTG fundraiser. I didn't pay. And it was a small fundraiser. It was a high dollar fundraiser. It's not that big. Middle of the day, so business people were coming and going. They were not staying for very long. So it was basically me and her. And she's not at all what she looks like in the media. And I'm not defending her because I'm a fan of her. I just, whatever. So it was her, me, and her staff. And we're talking for a long time. I gave her a copy of my book, and I asked her to read it for just like the legitimate purposes of I think there are important things in that book. But I asked her, what is the biggest problem in America? And she said to me that, and this is like basically a quote. She said to me that working class people are portrayed so poorly in the media, that a plumber will be fat with his ass crack hanging out, and someone working at an office desk will be beautiful and thin. And then I said to her, what if you could change anything about America? If you were in control of the government and you could change one thing, what would America look like differently in 10 years than it does now? And she said, everything that we could make in America, we would. I asked her point blank, do you believe in QAnon? And she said no. And then after that whole meeting with her, and I had a great impression of her, even knowing what I knew about her. And I thought, oh, she's going to be a lunatic. And she really wasn't to me in that face-to-face interview, a conversation we had. Then her staff came by her. And she said that she'd been studying AOC and that she'd been studying the way AOC acts and the way that AOC gets her, has gotten so much publicity. And she was asking a lot of questions about AOC. And I said, listen, before AOC existed, there was Chakrabarti. Before Chakrabarti, there was the DSA and Justice Democrats. There was an organization of progressive Democrats that she was talking about trying to primary establishment Republicans. I said, that can't happen unless you build an infrastructure around it the way that AOC had an infrastructure around her. I don't think she really got it. Mm-hmm. Then her staff comes sits next to me, this tall fucking ginger from like Northeast Georgia and like some other bunch of people.
Was that Wyatt?
That was not Wyatt. And they kept on saying, we're going to make her a star. We're going to make her a star. We're going to make her a star. And I finally just cracked and I was like, how are you going to make her a star? And they go, we're going to run on guns and abortion. And I was like, see, you have potential, but you have morons around you. And you're never going to get it. And he goes, don't you understand? We're going to end abortion in America. I said, don't you understand? You're not. And I looked her straight in the face and I said, your staff is so incompetent, they're going to make you Steve King in less than a year. And I think that is, and I gave her suggestions for who to hire in her staff. I even offered to her to let me help out in the first 6 months of her being there. I don't know how much of a hand they've played in this, but I do know that the staff is very hungry to make her a power player and to make her get attention. And I think she's much more genuine. And she totally dismissed. I asked her about QAnon, whatever. She said she doesn't believe it. So, she is maybe what happens when boomers get on technology, but I think that she has a little more. I think she's got a little more brains than people give her credit for. At the same time, I think she's grossly understaffed with incompetent people.
Look, I know that people's public personas and private personas are completely different. I totally get that. Right. That's totally possible.
Yeah. I was very impressed when I met with her, and I was, genuinely impressed with it. And she said to me things that I was like, wow, I completely agree with you. She clearly said things about Jews with lasers. Okay, that's fucking crazy. There's no way to get around that shit. That's absolute batshit fucking crazy.
Yeah, all right, so I kind of came late to the whole Jews with Jewish space lasers. What the fuck is that about?
I don't even know if I've seen that statement or anything.
Something
really.
About Jews with space lasers funded by George Soros doing something. I don't really know.
I feel like Jay would know the most about it, given he's from the UAE and he's sort of taught to know from basically when he's little.
Well, what we're on right now, the conspiracy we're on right now, is that COVID was made by Israel labs to tank the Chinese economy for America.
It was like, wait, can I say, because I'm looking at the comments, can I say one more thing? What she should have done had she hired a professional staff, which she did not, and I've worked on campaigns for 15 years, so she should have, one, made her personal Facebook private, which she never did. Secondly, deleted all that shit. And thirdly, if any of it came forward, just sit there and say, you know what? I was just talking out loud. I don't believe it. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, and just got past it. But because she continues not to sit there and just say, hey, I said some weird fucking shit. I had a drinking problem. I don't know. Whatever. She didn't have a drinking problem. I'm just making a joke. But
right.
She should have sat there and said make an excuse. Say, I'm going to therapy now. I'm a better person. Whatever it is. and just get past it. I'm not excusing the things she said in case anyone's saying that.
Yeah.
No, and I'm with you 100%. But the thing is that there's a lot of things in essentially. Sorry.
Ryan Siraj, as a gay journalist, how do you feel about Jen Psaki making homophobic remarks about Lindsey Graham? I didn't hear that. What she said.
This is an old tweet from August.
Wait, I have a point though, and I think it's a good with her staff and the people she has right now is like never apologize, never take a step back, never admit that you're wrong, and I think that's what got her into a lot of trouble. I really do because a lot of times like it's like she fights or he fights.
I'm not laughing. Not Steve. Not Steve said, I've only got this Catholic earthquake machine. That is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. And I'm probably that is so fucking funny. What you call it? No, you're right. And it's this whole thing so fucking funny. That is so fucking funny. No, that's true. It's this whole thing of like, I want to be like Trump. I'm never going to fucking apologize. Okay, Trump lost his second term in part because he couldn't shut the fuck up. Like, a big thing was Trump could not shut the fuck up. He spent 6 months of his of the year he was running for re-election trying to solve a cold case with Joe Scarborough and his assistant. Like, shut the fuck up sometimes. Is it really like? Here's the question: do you want to be a? Do you want to have like do you want to be a product? Do you want to push yourself out there, or do you want to make change in a fundamental way for the government? At a certain point, if you want to just sell shit and make money for your campaigns, do what MTG is doing. If you want to like sit there and actually be able in a position to make power, you do not do what she's doing because she'll never be a senator. She'll never be in House leadership. She will be a backbencher forever and have as many votes as Steve King did in the end.
Yeah. This is a question that Prison Mitch was asking us. Let me get back to it. He says, Prison Mitch says, Ryan Siraj is a gay journalist. How do you feel about Jen Psaki making homophobic remarks about Lindsey Graham? This is from August 5th, 2020, in which he says, only in 2020 does Lady G get to push a bunch of debunked conspiracy theories while questioning Sally Yates, a.k.a. an American hero. Obviously, the Lady G references in reference to Lindsey Graham, and that that was like his call name when he would hire male prostitutes because apparently he's a closeted homosexual. So that blew up. Obviously, I think the funny thing about this,
had Lindsey Graham been president, he could have been his own first lady. How great was that?
Oh my God, Jay, did you completely miss that? Are you not even paying attention?
No,
of course I'm paying attention. No, I am.
What did he say?
Ryan? No, I've never paid attention to Ryan, but I asked. I know about the question about the tweet on Lady G.
Anyway,
and asking you gays if that's homophobic or not.
It absolutely is homophobic. Next,
100%.
Essentially. All right, we all got a drink. JC,
you do got a drink.
JC's chilling at the dough tonight, saying, given demographic shifts, Georgia going blue, etc. How does the GOP deal with trying to court suburbs with MTG as one of the party's leading figures?
Okay, one, there is no one in Washington who has less power than a freshman congressman in a party without the majority.
Right.
So she's not the leading figure. She's the self-appointed leading figure. The same with the Lincoln Project is a self-appointed group that is important. I think here's the biggest problem with the Georgia congressional map, and this is I said to Brad, whatever the fuck his name is, the tall one from
Palumbo?
No, not Brad Palumbo. Brad from the Trump campaign, you fucking moron.
Parscale.
Brad Parscale.
Well, Brad Palumbo's tall.
Yeah, it is true. He is tall. And that is my last comment on Brad Palumbo for the night. I told to Brad Parscale, I gave him look, if you just go to the white working class areas and register their voters, there's 42 million non-college educated whites who did not vote in the 2016 election. Just register them, engage them. You won't have to worry about the demographic shifts or anything. And I was basically told by people in the campaign there's no money in registering voters. The districts that voted the least in the last election were were Marjorie Taylor Greene's district, and it's the second most Republican district in Georgia. Had Marjorie Taylor Greene district voted the same way that Atlanta did, he would have won. I think that engaging white working class people is the way to win. It just is. And, had they done that, they would have won Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Trump would be in his second term right now.
Milton Harris asks, don't be fooled by big socialist
Titties.
They are meant to hypnotize and enslave your ass, Thomas Sowell.
They're called big naturals. Be a classy man.
Naturals.
Big
Alex Lego says, thanks for classing up Habibi Power Hour, Ryan. Not sure Jay and Siraj are even wearing pants. That is true. Speaking of pantsless Habibis, I'm going to go grab Ern.
Everyone's asking for Ern.
Everyone asks for Ern.
He's a real star of the show.
You guys go ahead and talk your shit. I'll be right back.
So, Jen, what is your favorite thing about me so far during this show? Well, I
that you drink straight bourbon. I drink scotch, but I'm out of scotch, so I'm drinking vodka right now, which is probably not a good thing. That is not a good thing. My ex drinks straight vodka before, and she used to beat me.
Well, you're not a very impressive man, so I understand. I hope that to all the commenters that I was a good guest. I'm not sure.
No, absolutely. I think everyone's been having a great time. I mean, people have been tweeting about it nonstop on the show. So it's absolutely fantastic having you on. And
this show is not sponsored by Tito's. Sorry.
No, it's not. Or Buffalo Trace. But no, and hopefully next time I'm out there, I'll be able to actually meet you in person, because I'm in a group with Wyatt and Michael as well.
Yeah, and we all talk very poorly of you when you're not around.
That's totally fine. I know it is, because I'm brown and you all are white. So that's what happens.
Two of us are Sicilian, and the other one is Armenian Mexican.
Sicilian.
I mean, like
Italians haven't been white for the past decade.
We are white when it is convenient and not when it is not. So shut up.
Well, Lebanese are now considered white.
As Ryan was serious on Twitter that he needs someone to buy him a drink. I do, Abe, because I'm out of scotch. And if someone would like to mail me some scotch, DM me, and I will send you my grandmother's address, which you can mail me.
Anthony, that is true. I am theoretically brown.
Here he is.
I do turn olive when I'm in the sun, but I haven't been in the sun lately.
All right, here he is.
You know one thing that's fascinating me right now?
No, I don't.
It's it's the fact that how Biden admin has constantly been siding with teachers unions and going against what the experts and scientists have been saying on the CDC.
I mean, shocked by the Biden administration. I genuinely thought, look, there's so many issues that 80% of Americans agree on, and I was like, oh, they're going to make Republicans take really hard votes on these issues that everybody agrees on. And he hasn't done fucking anything. He ended, Trump during those last year's administration, was trying to give out to elderly people, if you're diabetic, what medicine do you get? It's insulin. He was trying to give out free insulin for diabetics over the age of 65. Biden ended that. He ended extra funding for the opioid crisis. I mean, it's truly bizarre what his administration is doing. And I assume it's because he is not in charge at all and he doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't think he knows anything. He's just signing shit away and stuff, and it's people in the administration that doesn't want to give any credit to Trump for anything that could be good.
Yeah, so the CDC director Rochelle, what's her last name? Walensky. The story broke basically this evening that schools can safely reopen without vaccinating teachers. Of course, the Chicago Teachers Union is going to, blow a fucking gasket. and gonna say, no, we're all gonna fucking die. Give me that shot, daddy. Basically, the whole trust the science plan is going to be backfiring in their fucking faces because they're like, no, we're not going back until we're all vaccinated. Well, the CDC director just said every teacher can just go back to school because trust the science. So whether the science is to be trusted is one thing. But the fact that they're like, we're going to just trust the science and, they're going to call the CDC director basically the next, mini Trump or some shit.
Actually, that's basically what happened because the CDC director came out and said that they can actually work safely without the shot.
Right.
And Pisecki came out and said, well, she wasn't really speaking in guidance or whatever.
Wait,
and then again, the same CDC director came out again and stated that no, actually, what I said is true. Like the guidelines are going to be like,
no.
These are the guidelines.
What did you call the press secretary's name?
Ginger with the ass.
Are you the one who gets banned from Twitter all the time?
Yes, that's him.
Yes, that's me.
I'm surprised it took you that's long, Ryan, honestly. Dave Eckstein says, so Ryan was really serious on Twitter that he needs someone to buy him a drink.
I do. I need someone to buy me a bottle. Someone DM'd me about it, and I'm not going to tell you an address, but I will meet up with you somewhere in New York if you want to buy me a glass of scotch. And by the way, someone said scotch with diet soda. It's straight scotch neat. So I don't drink scotch with anything in it besides like anything in it, not even ice.
Wow. So we're basically flying through this right now. I really want to get to our final story. We did touch on MTG, AOC. Oh, we didn't really talk about the stonks. Ryan, did you get in on any of that stonk action?
Yes, I lost everything I had.
Did you really?
I lost a lot of money. But
what did you get in? What did you get in?
Well, luckily, because people are insane, I bought 10,000 shares of this penny stock that went up, and I sold it, so I made a little money. But I got in on AMC. Hold on, let me see. AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, Blockbuster, and Express. So I am down substantially. But
yeah.
But you know what sucks is that when those were going up, my traditional stocks were going down, and now it's vice versa. Either way, I'm fucked. I shouldn't even try. My cousin over in Ireland made like 70 grand and sold everything at the top, and I'm like, you can go fuck yourself.
He didn't hold. What
he's like, I didn't want to. He's like, it's the first stock I bought, and I didn't have the courage to tell him when I bought stocks as a meme told me to.
Because a meme told me.
He's like, but now I'm buying a house, bitches. I'm like, oh, okay.
So one of the things that I never told anyone this really, but this is one of my favorite stories about my dad, Bubba. Ron, you've met my dad, right?
Yes, blatant homosexual.
He's a
lovely man.
He's great. Jay, once you finally decide to give up, once you finally decide to land the plane that you're in and free the hostages, you got to come through and meet Bubba.
I got to.
But in any event, this is something funny that Bubba does. He actually he engages in halal stocks. So like this is the greatest thing he does. He will buy stocks of like any company that is halal. So like if they are like if Tesla is just making cars, he's buying stocks. But as soon as Elon Musk announced that there is going to be a Tesla tequila, he's like, I'm selling it all. It's haram now.
Is he really?
He really sold it all. He sold all his Tesla stocks because it's haram.
Man, that's so fucking hilarious.
But it gets even better because it's not even just extended to like people, like companies making alcohol. He then he bought Amazon, early on, and he made a lot of money on it. And what's great is that he sold his stocks in Amazon when they started Amazon Prime streaming. So he's like, that's haram content. I'm not gonna the people be drinking and doing drugs and having sex on there. I'm not gonna have my money in that. So he sold all his Amazon shares. And he did the same thing with Apple too.
He only invests in companies that have as much sex as Siraj does. So if they have close to zero, otherwise he's not doing it.
Ernie legit has more sex with me, and he's neutered.
Ernie has more sex with himself than Siraj.
But yeah, that is.
Siraj wears a self-imposed chastity belt. I mean, it's very sad.
I actually did get in on Wall Street bets. I got in on Nokia, about $100 worth of shares in that. I think it was 5 shares total. I basically set aside $500 just to play around with on Robinhood, and then I shit you not, I bought AMC stock and I bought $100 worth of shares, but then that's when they started having the crackdowns, and so they partially canceled my transaction. And I think I may have shared this I don't think it was last week's episode, but maybe it was one of the Twitch streams I was on, and they legit only let me buy 0.069 shares of AMC.
0.069. Fucking nice.
Yeah.
I hope someone from
it's still pretty nice.
Ryan, what was that?
I said I hope someone from Robinhood goes to jail if doing that. I really do.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing who's gonna and what's gonna happen. Actually, a preview of hashing it out this week. I actually have one of the Habibtis on this week. I have Kate Hyde, who actually engages in a lot of stockbroking.
I don't know who that bitch is.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, and so she's gonna join me. She's gonna join me on hashing it out this week. We're gonna talk about it. But yeah, Jay, did you buy Dogecoin?
No, I did not. I did get into the cryptocurrency game though. Played around with a couple of thousand, and been doing pretty okay. Not too bad. I'm happy with it. I called my Jew friend on the phone and asked him what are the cryptocurrencies to get into, and he hasn't steered me wrong. So anyone who has a Jew friend out there and you're looking to get into stocks or crypto, call him for advice. Do it.
Amazing.
No, I did not buy any Dogecoins. I did not do that because honestly, he told me, "Don't be a fucking moron. Don't do that." So I listened to him.
Mr. Kenzo says Ari Fleshier. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but Ari Fleshier posted at noon today. 2017 Trump tax bill increased the share. The top 1% paid to 40%, and bottom 50% of earners now pay 3% of taxes. Yeah,
gives a fuck.
Well, obviously the wealthy.
We're having a good time. You're gonna be that fucking guy at a bar who's a real downer, asking me to check out his cancer wall. Calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
And also,
from Ari Fleshlight.
Also, I wanted Faye. I'm really happy. Everything went well with your surgery, and you're relaxing. And
oh, that's right. Faye
getting up to kick my ass later.
Our loyal Habibis, Ryan. She watches every week, and she
every week.
What's her name?
Last week.
What's her name? Faye. Faye.
Yeah,
Faye. You have to have better things in your life than this shit program. Don't waste so much fucking time. Get a husband, get a hobby, adopt a dog, get a kid. I don't give a fuck. This is a waste of fucking time. My time, your time. Don't do this to yourself. All right? I know you must have someone who loves you to intervene. But if you don't, I'll intervene. Do something else.
She does. She has a husband.
Well, he doesn't love her.
So
This must be the hour and a half he cheats during. Call him.
Okay. So I wanted to get to our final story here before we go to our favorite segment, which is where we invite obviously more questions, which we basically do the entire show, but we have a specific formal section for it. But we obviously don't follow the rules here. But in Myanmar, there was actually a coup on Monday, and the military seized control of the government. Now, the Myanmar has a very weird government structure, obviously, because now they're a military autocracy. But before, they had like semblance of democracy, but like 25% of the parliament had to be occupied by the military. So like the other 75%, they had, civilian populations, politicians serving in parliament. And there was an election in November, and the army accused the state councilor Aung San Suu Kyi of basically engaging in widespread election fraud, basically everything you kind of see here. Of course, there are a lot of parallels here that a lot of Trump supporters look to and be like, hey, why couldn't that have been us? Anyways, the state councilor Aung San Suu Kyi, she was detained, stripped of her power, and then charged on a trumped-up charge. And I shit you not, this is what the charge is. She was in possession of illegally imported walkie-talkies. Illegally imported walkie-talkies. I don't know if that's like a cell phone, if it's like, the vibrator 5000 with like 12 different functions that also include.
How do you know that there's 12 different functions? When did you get it and start fucking?
Wait, you guys don't have one either?
How great would it have been? How great would she have been if like she was arrested for listening to shitty ASMR? I mean, I would have been wondering if that's a crime over in Myanmar.
Anyways, basically
her vibrator is such shit. Instead of being called a rabbit, it's called a hamster. It's so.
I love your joke, Ryan. You have a great joke about your
my grandmother's vibrator.
Huh?
Yes. I come from a very, very honest family, and we tell each other everything. And my grandmother showed me her first vibrator, and it was so old, it was powered by a hand crank. And on the side, it said, beat the Japs. So. And when Jay understands what World War II was, he would have laughed at that joke, too.
World War II, I don't want to get into it. Like, my dad has a huge different theories about what World War II was and why it happened. I don't know how I became normal. It's fucking insane.
You didn't become normal. That's the insane part, is that you think you're normal. Go ahead.
David Toll says Siraj still sending the hackers Bitcoin to try to unlock his chastity cage. Chris Kinders asks, what is ASMR?
ASMR is when you go into a microphone and go, the weather outside is 35 degrees Celsius.
That's not it. See, that's not it, because I don't have a boner coming up right now.
Yeah,
what you want to do is you want to Google what's it called? Ass fucking ASMR. Then you're gonna get a fucking boner.
Shut up, Jay.
This is Nick's explanation. ASMR equals hot girls whispering into mics for guys to jerk it to.
Well, Nate, I don't think. Well, now we know what you search on Pornhub.
Oh man.
Wait, I'm not normal. I'm not normal. All these people ask.
Jay, you're wearing a rag for a hat. I don't want to hear it's your culture. Fuck that. It's stupid.
Okay, I really have to gotta play this, because this back to like what we were actually talking about with this Myanmar coup, and we just kind of went off on a tangent to vibrators and ASMR and hand cranking. What what was it? The hand cranking vibrator.
Hand cranking
vibrator.
Now available.
Now available at all Amazon.
Amazon or QVC.
Antique Roadshow is about to rape it.
Antique Roadshow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give you $69,420 for a crank. All right, so here's the craziest part about the Myanmar coup, and I'm gonna play it for you because this is what's making the rounds on social media. But in case you missed it, the only real footage we had of the Myanmar coup actually taking place was this fucking workout video. I'm just gonna.
Oh, Yashar Ali is on right now.
Sorry, Abang Bang Jago.
All right, so we could.
And after that, they go Gangnam Style. Boom.
So we all could see the basically every single like military vehicle like basically storming the government. What the fuck happened, Jay? You sound like me last week.
I sucked a dick a little bit too hard.
You know what? It's so funny because there was a similar video of Jay when he was involved in his first railroading sex game that they sat there. There was a girl dancing, and in the background was Jay just filing one behind the other. So it's.
Anyway,
Jay was taking his ticket, going, "What number am I?" It's
what am I doing it? Falls on number 69. I'm good.
31. What the fuck? Hot dog.
Yes, sir.
Says my God, you sick fucks.
You know I'm your favorite, Yashar.
Thank you, Daddy.
The best shit about Siraj.
And he says, finally, this live is interesting. Wow. Fucking pain right there. Pain. Tracy, thank you, Tracy. Says $30.
For the scotch, and that $30 is for me, you cheap bastard.
I'm not sending you shit, Ryan.
Shit.
So what are we talking about? What is this conversation about?
We were talking about Myanmar.
Myanmar.
My question was, this has gone completely off the rails as the longer we've gone on.
Listen, I'm out of scotch. I'm barely on a vodka. I'm out of nicotine gum. I'm in pure hell right now. I'm talking to you. So
amazing. Hold up. Amazing. Nate Beebe. Right? Holy shit. White guy is a guest. Of course, Yashar Ali shows up.
Yes.
Stupid.
I'm like the Republican caucus, like an MTG. I'm just applauding you.
It's so good.
Is Bean Dude 99, aka Nate Beebe, was literally like, I'm so over this guest, and then he just comes in with the windmill dunk right here. Oh man, that is good shit.
Oh fuck. That was good.
Anyways, so
Myanmar.
back to Myanmar.
Back to Asians being oppressed. What are we talking about?
I'm serious about this. Is Myanmar the first country the U.S. is going to invade under the Biden administration?
If you can find it on a map for me, I will tell you yes or no. I don't think anyone gives a shit enough to invade it. Like,
I feel like we could give less of a shit to.
This is how we judge if we're going to invade Myanmar. Is the ladyboy industry as important to us as oil was with Iraq in 2003? If it is, we invade. If it's not, we don't.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If we need a ladyboy for Jay, then we'll invade. If not, we'll be good.
Well, it just depends. How tall is she? Because I'm 5'4". Because if the ladyboy is 5'2", I'm all in. I'm dead.
Man,
I mean, you can't tell right now, but I'm as tall as these seats right behind me in this airplane. I'm actually standing right now.
It's
Hold
great.
on,
If you're,
I actually
if
think
you're
there's-
5'4" and your dick is 7 inches, you're a tripod. It's great. Don't worry about it.
There you go. I'm this drunk and I'm able to stand right here.
Someone could put a lamp on your back and you could just like hang out in a bedroom for all day long.
I actually believe there is imagery of Jay actually at the White House press briefing, if I can find it. Who tweeted it out, Jay?
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Oh, that's because you couldn't see over the fucking lectern.
I can't.
This is gonna take me forever. Fuck it. Anyways,
Listen, it's
No,
not
there's a lot of pictures out there depicting my size.
I know.
7 inches.
Being 5'4".
Lisa, 7
But
inches,
to be
let's go.
That's close to what John Weaver
LB,
told
I would give you 6.9 inches if you DM me right now your purple toenails.
Yashar says usually when Jay's people are in a cockpit, it's to destroy America. SNA.
You know, if you were Jewish right now, Jay, if you were Jewish right now, you'd be 7 inches, 6.5, and no, not another inch further. So I mean, like.
All right, real quick, we want to get to our last segment, and that is Ask Us Anything. So, Habibis, go ahead and ask us whatever you want. We'll do our best to answer it.
And right now, the only person in control with this is Habibi. I still can't. I can't do it.
You can't do it. Why can't you not
I still can't push on any comments because you don't give me the power, sir.
I don't even know how to because
you deprive me. That's what it is. You deprive
maybe
me.
when we finally figure out how to do once I finally build a Twitch, I'm sorry.
This is what happens when boomers run a Twitch. Answer a question.
Right.
First question.
Yashar asks, why are you so fucking gay?
Because you won't meet me in a bedroom yet, so I still have to fantasize and just jerk off by myself. Next question.
Typack says, do you fart with that ass girl?
That wasn't towards me. That's towards Jay.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's absolutely me. Anything with ass.
For Yashar, how much does Christy Teigen pay you for your feet pics?
Teigen?
Let's see. Ryan from Ryan says, Ryan, what is the most fucked up story you've ever covered?
The Lincoln Project's most fucked up story I ever covered. The most fucked up. I know a lot more than I'm allowed to say. I know a member of the Trump administration who, before she was a member of the Trump administration, was offering threesomes on television. I know about a very prominent television host who I've seen his sex tape with a guy and a girl, and he was the meat in between the sandwich. You could ask me. I've probably heard or seen it. People share way too much with me. I don't want to know any of it. I'm just a nice Catholic boy from Queens. But the story I've covered the most is the Lincoln Project.
Carter Scott asks, what is the funniest / dumbest high school or college story any of y'all have? Man.
Oh, that's a hard one.
That's a tough one.
I don't know. And I was over high school. I didn't go to college, and I was over high school when I was in it. So I was just too cool for school.
God, I don't. That's a tough. Carter, I'm gonna pull a Saki on you, a Saki bomb. I'm gonna say we're gonna circle back with that one. Joel asks, how many flying lessons did you take, Jay?
None to land.
Just enough where I'm able to take off and bank right. That's it.
Oh my God. Let's see. Yashar asks, how do you know how to pronounce shit?
I don't know who's
Shit.
talking to. If it's to me, shit. If it's to me, I don't know how to pronounce anything. So,
Well, if you want to pronounce,
who's how they're Iranians, Lebanese, or Turkish men, I say Lebanese.
it depends if they're under the age of 8 or not. So,
No, I'm saying
what?
I say Lebanese. I am not saying I say Lebanese, but I have seen Jay, and honestly,
Jay, you're Lebanese?
Yes,
Jay
my
is-
dad's Lebanese.
Jay's half Lebanese.
Yeah, I don't know any of those answers. So anything Arab related, just skip me.
Just skip me. Okay. Let's keep it going. Greg Martin asks, thoughts on the FBI lawyer getting off with a slap on the wrist for Carter Page stuff? Is that Peter Strzok? No, who is the
I didn't see that, but if that's true, that's fucked up because Carter Page did nothing wrong.
Carter Page didn't do anything wrong. If
The worst
anything,
thing about
the biggest
Carter
crime is
Page-
that he's too oblivious.
The worst thing about Carter Page is he has a lisp, and it's really fucking annoying.
People say I have a lisp.
You don't have a lisp, you mispronounce shit. And it makes you seem like you're retarded, but then you talk to you further, you're like, oh, he's not a retard. He just something's wrong with how he talks. And you assume you're a drunk.
I think that's why him and I get along very well because I mispronounce names like crazy, especially if they're white names. I just mispronounce them.
Yeah. Robert Jeffers, where I'll get to Navy in just a sec. Ryan, can you be host of a new segment called Siraj Jay Try to Say and they just dunk the fuck out of them? Oh, I said and then dunk the fuck, wow. And then just dunk the fuck out of them when they fail.
Okay. And they just dunk the funk out of them when they fail. It's called English, Robert. It's called English, okay?
I mean, we will mispronounce it if you fucking
literacy
say it
has
properly.
in this country, but it's failing miserably. Go back to the mountains. What the fuck is going on?
Nate BBS, Siraj, when we finally post that entire video of Earn in the Snow, I've been a little slammed. I'm gonna probably post it tomorrow because I'm finally on top of it.
You can't do that. The Earn is our caliphate. I mean, people will literally drive fucking planes into your apartment. They will.
Like,
I would die for this dog.
I know you.
All of us will.
Yeah. Tofurgi says no, he has a lisp.
No, he doesn't. He's retarded. Go ahead. Next question.
Let's see.
Shit. We are way too drunk right now.
Is there a story behind Branson Taylor? Asked Jibin.
Well, yes, actually there is. I was thinking of the whitest name I could come up with so I don't get banned off of Twitter. And this is my 13th Twitter account. And Branson Taylor. I mean, come on. You can't get fucking whiter than Branson Taylor.
Plays lacrosse. 100%.
Absolutely. Well, essentially.
100%.
I have no more alcohol.
You gotta drink. Fucking drink, Ryan.
I have nothing left.
Oh, damn.
Nothing left?
This is actually my last. I
should have put a bottle.
Finished half this bottle. I finished half this bottle.
All right, so I'm seeing some feedback here. Robert Jeffers, not a list, mush mouth.
Mush mouth.
Maybe.
Not a list says Dio Industries.
I think
Rivera, who I thought was going to bed, but is still back here because he can't get enough of the Habibi. Says Ryan is my favorite Habibi.
Thank you. I don't know what that means.
Wow.
I know
Habibi means like my friend, my beloved, my dear, my sweetheart.
my darling.
So when you call someone a Habibi and we're the Habibi Bros, it sounds like tough as fuck, right?
No, it sounds like you're both
We're the
pussy.
lovely brothers.
Yeah. We're black and we're brothers and that's fucking bullshit.
Oh man. Dan says, bro, you're in New York. You're telling me Postmates can't deliver alcohol?
I'm not saying it can't. It's saying I'm choosing not to pay for it to deliver me when I can go to the store tomorrow and do it. So don't give me shit about it, Dan, from last night.
Well, hey, miraculously, everything's opened up now in New York, so you probably could just go into anywhere and get a drink.
So let's see. Mickey White says, I'm down with the new show. Actually, Jay and I are working on something new, so stay tuned for that, Habibis. You'll be pleasantly surprised with that. LB says, oh god, this is a tough one. FMK, AOC, MTG, Pelosi.
Okay, who goes first?
Jay's got to go first.
Oh fuck. If it's purely ass eating, it's gonna be AOC. So that's fuck. If it's Mary, it's because she's gonna die soon, and I'm gonna get $500 million, and that's Pelosi. And kill, it would be. God damn it! Why does MTG have to be the one that I kill? I'm sorry. I'm already eating AOC's ass, so that's where it ends up.
Okay.
So I'm eating AOC's ass, marrying Pelosi for $500 million, and killing MTV.
All right, Siraj.
No, Ryan, you're on the spot now.
Okay, I would marry Pelosi not just because she's wealthy and old, but because I think she's probably a cuddler, and that's important to me. I would probably kill AOC because she's terrible in bed. And I would like to know if MTG is going to peg me. So I would probably fuck her. So that's the
I would definitely bang Pelosi first. I would,
because how else are you gonna fuck an 80-year-old? I mean, honestly.
Well, because I don't have a snowball's chance in hell with AOC or MTG. Pelosi's the only one to be like, yeah, I guess we could.
I can't feel it anyway. Normally, I got no feeling in there. It doesn't matter if you have a small penis. Let's go.
Yeah, she's the only one who will respect me and my micro penis.
Her vagina is probably so dry that if Whitney Houston had her vagina, the water in the bathtub would have sucked in, and she'd still be alive today.
Also, I'm a tits guy, so Pelosi's got him. And then I would marry NTG, kill AOC. That's it. That's how I go.
Okay.
There you go.
Fuzzy asked, Siraj, have you told your two co-hosts about coming out live on Twitch stream? I think they'll be supportive, especially that Prius driving Lib Branson.
See, look, Fuzzy. Right after this, you can call me a lib as much as you want, but the way I'm gonna fuck your mom's ass tonight is gonna be written about for like years to come. And I will be sure to make sure she comes on that book.
Look at them. And there's my essential, but there's the main attraction right there. The urn.
I hate that fucking
What
dog.
a buddy. What a buddy.
I can't wait to meet that dog.
Yeah, he's a delight. Anyways, Habibis.
No, I was talking about Ryan.
Oh. Jake says, who's hung out who's hung out of Jay, Siraj, and Ryan? Like we're talking
who has
here? Obviously I'm the smallest.
Who's got a dick?
I'd say we're all equal in how small our dicks are.
I mean, I've seen Siraj, but only while he's peeing, so it's soft. And even then, it looks like a vagina. So I don't really know.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Greg Martin says, tomorrow's New York Times News, Siraj says he wants to kill AOC. Oh my God, that's too good. I think we got to leave it at that, Habibis. Ryan, you have been phenomenal tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
Siraj, this has been the worst experience of my life.
Ryan, you can follow him on Twitter at Ryan Girdusky. That's RyanGirdusky for those listening. You can see his fucking name on the screen.
For the 7 people still on this bullshit live stream.
Good 130, 150 people watching right now. So I'm glad you joined us. Ryan, we'll have to get you on again probably in another 69 years because
Yeah. Another like 9 months when I break news that everyone's covering it. So I was like, hey, listen, I know I know you have Fox interviews, but want to come on my show, and then I'll sit there and end up showing up. So
yeah,
I'm canceling. I'm canceling my order of your book right now. Like I'm not even like I ordered. You can't even see it, but I ordered.
Actually,
shit,
it's
this
funny.
AI
You
is gonna-
disappear.
I ordered.
You
I
disappear
disappear when I do it.
when you put your phone up there. That's fucking wild.
That is wild. It's arriving Friday. I am going to cancel that right now.
Well, Ryan's a good friend. For those of you who don't know, Ryan actually helped me get my job at the Examiner, and he'll be the reason why I probably get fired from the Examiner. So
it comes full circle.
So Habibis, again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Siraj Hashmi.
I'm Mujahed Kobbe.
And we're the Habibi Bros. Thank you for joining us for another Habibi Power Hour. Ryan, again, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you all. Have a good night. Peace.